Welcome to Zenyo Workforce. In this video, we'll explore the expense management section, which plays a crucial role in enabling you to track and manage work-related expenses. So, let's get started. Before we explore the expense section in detail, let's quickly go over the settings related to expenses. Click on the settings icon and navigate to the expense in the main menu. Select the expense code submenu. Here, you can choose manual to manually enter the code, or auto-generated to generate it automatically by providing an expense prefix and an increment number. Then, click Save. Next, click on the expenses category from the menu. Here, you'll see a list of expense categories along with their name, last modified date, and action. If you need to search for a particular expense category, you can use the search box. To add a new expense category, just click on the Add button. Enter the name and click Save. You can click on the Edit icon under the Action field to edit the name of the expense category. Click the Update button to save your changes. Now let's go to Approval to set the expense approval flow. From here, select Expense. Specify who can approve expense requests for the employees. Here, you can set approvals at two levels: Default and Advance. In the default level, the set approval flow will be applied to all employees. You can choose a single level of approval by selecting a role or a person as the sole approver. Alternatively, you can establish multiple levels of approval, with a maximum of 5 levels. You can choose the account owner, admin, reporting manager, or a specific person as the approver. If you choose a specific person, you can select a particular employee as the approver. Each of the roles mentioned above can be chosen only once, except for specific person. You can choose advance approvals if you need different approvers for various teams. Click the settings icon located on the top right corner and choose Advance Approvals. Here, you can create separate approvers for each department, role, and office location. To set up advance approvals for expenses, watch the video linked in the description to learn more. Here, I am proceeding with the default level approval setting. I am assigning the admin as the sole approver. Click Save, and a message will confirm that the expense approval flow settings have been updated successfully. Now, let's proceed to the expense management section and submit an expense. Go to the dashboard and select Expense from the main menu. On the expense page, go to My Expenses where all your expenses you've made will be displayed. You can search for a particular expense using the search box by entering the expense code or client details. Alternatively, you can filter expenses using the Advanced Filter option by entering the expense category, status, start date, or end date. Click the Apply button to see the filtered results. The expenses will be listed along with the expense code, expense category, client, amount, status, date, document, and action. In the document field, you have the option to download, delete, or view the attached documents when the status is draft or rejected. If the status is submitted or approved, you can download and view the attached documents. You can undo or view a submitted expense. View the details of an approved or paid expense. Resubmit, or look at the rejection reason of a rejected expense under the Action field. Now, to create and submit an expense, click the plus icon. The expense code will be auto-generated in the field since we have chosen auto-generated in the settings. If you have chosen manual, you will need to manually enter the code. Choose the expense category. Enter the amount. Select the currency code accordingly. And specify the date. Provide a description if necessary. If the expense is billable to a client, select Yes. And choose the client details. Otherwise, choose No. Don't forget to add any relevant documents, such as receipts, in the attachments section. If you click Save, the expense will be saved in draft mode. To submit the expense for approval, click Submit. Now you can see your submitted expense listed under My Expenses. You can either undo the submitted expense using the undo icon before approval. You can then edit the expense using the edit icon. And click Save to save it as a draft, or Submit to resubmit it for approval. You can also just view the details. To approve this submitted expense request, we need to log in from the approver account. Since we have set a one-level approval and designated the admin as the sole approver, we need to log in from an admin account. Here, I am logging in from an admin account. To approve the request, go to Expense from the main menu on the dashboard. On the expense page, if you are an approver, the expense requests will be listed in the Work List tab. Click on the Work List tab. Under the Pending tab, you'll find a list of pending requests along with expense code, employee name, expense category, client name, amount, date, document, and action fields waiting for your approval. You can search for a particular expense using the search box. Alternatively, you can filter expenses using the Advanced Filter option by entering the expense category, start date, or end date. Click the Apply button. Here you can find the expense request we submitted from the employee profile. You can either reject or approve the request from here. If you need to review the request in detail, click the Approve icon. You can then click Proceed and Approve from here as well. Now I am clicking the Review Details button. Here, you can view the expense details in detail in the submitted status. To approve the request, click the Approve button. A pop-up will ask for further confirmation. Click Yes to proceed. A message indicating that the approval has been granted will be displayed. Here, choose a payment method from the drop-down. And set a payment date as well. Click Save. Please note, only the last level approver will receive the payment details dialog box. Since we have only one level of approval here, we receive this dialog box. In the Completed tab, you'll find the requests that have undergone the approval process, with either an approved or rejected status. Next comes the All Expenses tab. This tab displays the list of all the expenses made in the company along with the expense code, employee name, expense category, client, amount, status, date, document, and action fields. You can search for a particular expense using the search box by entering the employee name or client details. Alternatively, you can filter expenses using the Advanced Filter option. Click the View icon under the Action field to view the details of each expense. They may have different statuses like paid, submitted, approved, or rejected. In the case of a multiple-level approval flow, only the approver on the last level can make the payment and move the request to the paid status. If it was missed, you can still view and create a payment for expenses in the approved status. To initiate a payment, simply click on the Create Payment icon. Now enter the payment method and payment date. And then click Save. And now the expense request will move from approved to paid status. That concludes our video about expense management. By following these guidelines, you'll be able to efficiently track, manage, and process work-related expenses, streamlining the reimbursement process and ensuring accurate expense tracking. Make sure you like, subscribe, and get notified so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Let us know if you have any queries. Thanks for watching.